I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Thursday, July 11th. The group of Quincy residents trying to repeal the recent salary increases for the mayor and city councilors failed to gather the necessary signatures needed. However, they say they have succeeded in engaging more residents in becoming active in city government. A Just Quincy collected 6,030 signatures to repeal the mayoral raise and 4,642 signatures to repeal city councilor raises. 8,000 signatures were needed to force the repeal of the raises by yesterday, according to state law. More than 100 volunteers spent the past 20 days gathering signatures at public places across Quincy, and the group says that they would have succeeded given more time. The group says they remain hopeful that the city council will voluntarily repeal the raises when they reconvene in September. A Just Quincy says the raises were too high and were done without proper study or public input. The council approved an increase for the mayor from $150,000 to $285,000 and for councilors from $30,000 to $44,500. Two men are charged with selling cocaine in Quincy. After a drug bust last night, officers say they witnessed a drug transaction outside the 7-Eleven on Franklin Street at 8:30 last night. Two men reportedly sold drugs to a third man and then fled on a moped. Police stopped the moped on Quarry Street, and the men fled on foot. One officer was injured after being struck by the moped, but was treated on scene and remained on duty. A second officer was taken to South Shore Hospital with a finger injury. Facing cocaine trafficking charges are a 37-year-old Boston man and a 31-year-old man from Lawrence. Police say they seized 12 packets of drugs and $449 in cash. One man also faces assault and motor vehicle charges. 5 people suffering what Boston police said were non-life-threatening injuries in a shooting last night in Dorchester. Police rushed to Greenwood Street near the corner of Ellington Street just before 10 p.m. Police said 4 of the victims appeared to be young adults. One of the victims was a juvenile. Video from the scene showed crime tape blocking off multiple streets in the area. Evidence markers were scattered around a tree in the yard of a home at the corner of Ellington Street. Police said a group of people were celebrating at a gathering that was interrupted by gunfire. The shooting took place in a residential neighborhood off Washington Street, adjacent to the Fairmont MBTA commuter rail tracks. Anybody with information is asked to contact Boston Police. Yesterday, lawyers for Karen Read said they've heard from another juror claiming the panel voted to acquit her of second-degree murder and leaving the scene of an accident with injury or death. The defense's latest filing is being used as more evidence to support their motion to dismiss the 2 charges, saying it would violate the double jeopardy clause of the U.S. Constitution. On Monday, Read's team filed a motion to dismiss, saying a juror and 2 informants told them that they would have found her not guilty on those charges, too. Read's attorneys say the jury was deadlocked on the manslaughter charge. The filing yesterday came as the ever-persistent Karen Read supporters were back outside the Norfolk County District Attorney's office in Canton, this time calling for Michael Morrissey not to retry the high-profile murder case. In their push to have Karen Read's second-degree murder charge drop in the death of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, Read's attorneys say another juror has come forward since the dramatic mistrial, saying the jury was ready to acquit Read on 2 of the 3 charges. But in the jury's notes to the judge, they never indicated they were close to deciding a verdict on any of the 3 charges. The DA's office says it will look at the motion to dismiss, anticipating a response, and look forward to picking a new trial date at their next hearing, scheduled for July 22nd. Now, pickleball has become a popular sport in Braintree, but it's also been a nuisance for some neighbors who live next to the new courts. The town, along with the support of pickleball enthusiasts, brought in new sound barriers to help reduce the distinct noise. But the back and forth between pickleball players and neighbors has not let up. The town worked with the Braintree Pickleball Club, which has roughly 700 members, to bring in a $20,000 sound barrier Sound Seal. Typically manufactures panels for the construction industry and has recently found a use for them in pickleball courts. The concerns have reached the town's mayor, who also plays the game. Aaron Joyce believes there are options on the table to mitigate the problem and keep the courts open. Failing to find a compromise could lead to a situation like in Falmouth, where a group of neighbors sued the town over pickleball noise. Some neighbors on Wynot Road in Braintree said they wished the town had consulted with them before bringing in the pickleball courts in the first place. A check of business news this morning. Stocks soared yesterday. The Dow shot up 429 points. NASDAQ rose 218. The S&P is up 56. Stocks were higher in Asia. The dollar fell. The euro rose. Oil now at over $82 a barrel. Sports, the A's beat the Red Sox at Fenway last night 5-2. They'll wrap up the series tonight at 7:10. Forecast today from the National Weather Service. Some showers, maybe a thunderstorm, hot and humid at a high 90 degrees. Foggy, muggy tonight, low 72. Tomorrow, hazy sunshine, warm and humid, high of 89. Thunder showers around on Saturday, the high of 83, and then a sunny 92 on Sunday. The marine forecast, there is a small craft advisory in effect through this evening. Winds out of the south 15 to 20, gusting to 25 knots, waves at 2 feet. There's a high surf advisory as well. High tide at 4:12 this afternoon. Sun rose at 5:17, will set at 8:20. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Thursday, July 11th.